listen, today I'm going to have to be a little bit on the defense because Media Matters decided to run a disgusting article, including yours truly, this morning. And I'm going to try not to swear a lot in this episode. I'm angry. Okay. Not swearing is going to be difficult, but YouTube doesn't like it when I swear. So trying to be good. Anti-LGBTQ hate has increased on Twitter since Elon Musk officially acquired the company. And they have this graphic including all of these anti-LGBTQ accounts that are supposedly growing under Elon or whatever. And yours truly is on this list, sandwiched between Babylon Bee and Allie Beth Stuckey. I'm not sure who that is, but Babylon Bee is like a satire website. So listen, they have Gays Against Groomers on there, Tim Pool, Jack Posobiec, Jake Shields, all my friends. This is officially the cool kid list, but I will say, like, the fact that a trans person, me, Gays Against Groomers, a group of LGBT people, when I say LGBT because they have people from every acronym part of the organization, Andy No was on there, he's gay. You know, it's like, Media Matters is a joke of a publication. We've known that for a long time, right? But the problem is you have a situation where, and I'm going to pull up the author of this publication, Kayla Gogarty, says Kayla is a deputy research director at Media Matters, where she has worked since September of 2018. She holds a master's degree in chemistry research from Stony Brook University and has a background in LGBTQ media and advocacy. Now, listen, Miss Gogarty, I don't know your story other than this. Your work has amassed you since 2018 working for Media Matters a total of 800 Twitter followers, which is about a fraction of what my dog's account has that I haven't posted on since I think 2018. And it's not about like making fun of someone for not having followers, because frankly, I like people who don't have social media more. But it's just the fact that Miss Kayla Gogarty has the nerve, the absolute nerve, the balls, the cojones, if you will, to sit up calling a trans woman anti-LGBT simply because she doesn't agree with the way that I advocate for my effing community. I wish I could swear in this. I swear to God. It's probably better I can't, actually. You know, and Gays Against Groomers. I'm sorry. Is being anti-groomer anti-pedophilia? In what world is that anti-LGBT? And is what way for me advocating for my own experience as a trans person, and an experience that was valid up until a few years ago, when it comes to the trans issue, how is that being anti-LGBT? And Kayla, I don't know if you are LGBT yourself. It seems like you have a background in LGBTQ like advocacy. Doesn't say what you are. Are you a lesbian? Are you bisexual? I mean, doesn't look like you're trans. You're not a gay man. I don't know what you are. And I know that people get kind of like annoyed when like lefty trans people say that, like, you know, cis people don't have an opinion or straight people don't have an opinion. I'm going to relate to the lefties in this sense. I don't have any respect for straight, non-trans, left-y people who are going to sit up and call me anti-trans because I'm talking about my own experience as a trans person and advocating for my community in the way I see fit. I don't care if you disagree with it or agree with it. The fact that you can fix your mouth to call me anti-trans or anti-LGBT simply because I'm going about it in a way that doesn't necessarily look like how you're used to seeing it, I don't care. I have dedicated my life, literally my entire career, even though I talk about things other than trans issues, the bulk of my career and the bulk of what I spend my time doing is advocating for rationalization in the trans community to improve the standing and the perception of trans people in the eyes of the world, for which it is absolute. It's bad, the way that the world views the trans community. I've dedicated my life to trying to fix that. I don't care if you and I see eye to eye on how I'm doing it or how you're doing it. But I don't sit and call you anti-LGBT because you advocate in a way I don't personally agree with. I'm sure you're very pro-LGBT in your own way, but guess what? So am I. So am I, Miss Kayla Gogarty. who's been at Media Matters since 2018 and has 800 followers. I don't care if it makes me sound stuck up. I don't care if it makes me sound big-headed or self-absorbed or self-interested. I know for a fact I'm making a positive impact in the world when it comes to the ways in which I advocate for trans people, because I get nothing but emails and DMs saying so every day. On an hour-to-hour, minute-to-minute basis, I'm getting messages from people, straight people, non-trans people, people living in deep red areas of the country who say, I never got the trans thing until I watched your content. And I'm sitting up here being called anti-LGBT by the Kayla Gogurtys of the world, by Media Matters, Gays Against Groomers, whose sole mission is just to defeat pedophilia, has to get called anti-LGBT despite being made up of solely LGBT people. It's just disgusting. And guess what? It's not as if Kayla has this huge reach that I'm like, oh my God, being freaked out. It's the fact that we have a system now where what is written on Media Matters is pushed to the top of the algorithm when you Google everyone's names that's on this list in Google, because Google's biased as well. So this becomes the narrative. Blaire White being anti-LGBT becomes the narrative because random basics named Kayla Gogurty write so on Media Matters. And it's disgusting. Media Matters is not credible. Media Matters is a joke. But they're going to get pushed to the top of the algorithm on Google when you Google any of our names now because of this. So, Kayla, you should be ashamed of yourself for that. I truly believe you should be ashamed of yourself for this. If you can't understand that LGBT people are not a monolith, and granted, I'm not going to get caught up in defending each and every person on this list because I don't even know every person on this list. Maybe one of them is anti-trans, anti-LGBT, whatever. I don't know. I know Tim Pool isn't. I know Gays Against Groomer isn't. I know Andy knows gay himself. So I'm not going to get caught up in defending each individual person. But when it comes to the LGBT community is not a monolith. And just because you don't keep up or agree with every single sentiment the community comes up with, for which that's constantly evolving every 5 minutes, the fact that you have to get called hateful for it or anti-LGBT because of it, that's how I feel about that. Try not to swear, so I'm just going to do this. Done with this. Done with the Kayla Gogurtys of the world. These busybody, simpleton basics who have the nerve to even write stuff like that. It's just disgusting. And I'm so glad I have this podcast now, because on my main channel, I would never get caught up in making some dedicated video to some just idiot writing this in an article, right? But I have time today, and I have time on the podcast now. It's an hour show. Done with the Kayla Gogurtys of the world. Done with you. All right. The New York Post. Latest Twitter files reveal secret suppression of right-wing commentators. I am late talking with the Twitter files because I wasn't able to do a podcast last week, which sucks because there's so much to talk about here. But we're just going to focus on the Twitter files that was released via Elon and via Barry Weiss, revealing the censorship that was taking place against conservatives on Twitter. Now, at this point, what are conspiracy theorists batting? What, 200 and 0? I don't understand. The gaslighting that has taken place for years on Twitter about how there's not really any censorship on Twitter. It's conservatives being babies. It's just conservative ideas being unpopular. It's all in their head. They're And then Elon just drops that, no, there 100% was mechanisms in place. He even specifically said Charlie Kirk was among them. Liz of TikTok was among them. They showed that there were literally badges and lists that they would attribute to different commentators saying that this person is search banned, this person is banned from trending, this person's reach is minimized. They were literally throttling really every major right-wing account, which, by the way, is really crazy that there was still it's not as if they stopped the careers of these people, which just goes to show these ideas, when they are not being throttled and met with censorship, are actually popular ideas. And it really says something about leftist ideas that they can only survive in, first of all, an echo chamber, and second of all, amongst massive censorship and throttling. That's what I don't understand. What do you think it says about your ideas that they can only exist in areas where anything to the contrary is banned? I would not feel very confident about my ideas if I was on a website where leftists were getting banned left and right, where like a tweet that could have gotten 100,000 likes got 20,000 because it was being throttled, like, of ideas to the contrary of mine. Like, are y'all okay? Like, is there any explanation? I haven't seen any leftists even really talking about this, which is amazing. I mean, it's really, in the Twitter files, they also released how the FBI colluded with Twitter to get Trump banned despite not actually violating any rules. And it really is amazing now that Trump is like unbanned from Twitter. It's like one of the things that you can see on Trump's account is that his like second or third most recent tweet was like, please don't be violent. And he was banned for apparently inciting violence. It's like, this is the problem. If we don't have a level playing field in discourse, how can we even heal as a country? We are in such a broken place right now as a nation, as a people. Mankind just feels so broken. And it's like, I'm so glad that Elon has bought Twitter. Not everything he's done I agree with. I think he's really like kind of turned the blue check thing into a little bit of a joke. And like, I don't know, I think there's value in, as someone who's a public person, and I know people who are not public figures are going to get triggered by this. It's like, there is something to say about a blue check being next to Blaire White's account and not like accounts that are pretending to be Blaire White. You know what I mean? It's like, not everyone should have a blue check, period. Just because you pay for it. It's like, so what? Someone can make an account tomorrow that looks exactly like my account, pays for a blue check, gets a blue check, and can tweet a bunch of shit. It's like, granted, Media Matters is going to run a hit piece on me regardless if it's real or not. But you know what I mean? It's like, I don't agree with everything Elon's done. That's the long and short of that little mini rant. However, no one has done more for free speech and for transparency than Elon. Like, Elon has done more for free speech than anyone in the GOP in the last decade, which is actually pretty sad. We had a Republican White House. We had Republican every branch of government in the beginning when Trump came in, and nothing was done, which was a huge failure on Trump's part. I mean, the fact that Elon comes in and does more in just a few months for it than Trump did, it's kind of like, that's a massive L for Trump, among other things. I mean, giving the presidency over to effing Fauci for the last year of his presidency was a huge flop. It's like, I don't want to get into like why I'm annoyed with Trump, because we're just going to be on that forever. But the fact is, I'm very grateful that Elon is being so transparent. One of the other things he's really revealed is that there was a point where Twitter was literally not just neglecting the CP problem on the platform, but actively refusing to take it down, actively refusing to ban accounts that were posting it and partaking in that behavior. And then had the nerve to ban the word groomer while actively refusing to take down CP. I mean, it doesn't get much more devious than that. Like, I don't know. A lot of people are mad about Elon owning Twitter. Don't really see a lot of rational arguments why. It is what it is. If you guys enjoyed that short clip from the podcast, make sure you guys subscribe to this channel as well as my main channel and watch the full episode, which will be somewhere on the screen.